Hello, my dear friends, and welcome to this reflection on chapter 10 of Matthew. And today I really want to concentrate on the last verse of the passage where Jesus says, "If you confess me before others, I will confess you before my Father in heaven." And it comes as at the end of a whole lot of other stuff which is really about trying to deal with this disciples' fear and consternation about things. But the reason I want to concentrate on this is to sort of tie in a little bit with what happened last week when we were talking about, who can the disciples be? Even though we're not trained, are we really good? Can we really be good messengers of the good news of Jesus? And the reason I picked up on this passage, even it's very fortuitous that it's part of the readings for this Sunday, but one of the reasons I wanted to pick up on this, it's got a very personal context for me. Many of you may know that back in 1999, my son Daniel died after a very short illness. He fell ill on the Friday and he was dead the following Thursday from a disease called hemolytic uremic syndrome. And for those in South Australia especially, they'll be familiar with the Garibaldi-Metwurst issue, where 19 children ate Garibaldi-Metwurst and one child died as a result of that. Daniel wasn't part of that. His was from a different source, but it's had a lasting impact on our family, on myself and my children and my ex-wife. And so what I want to do is relate to you how this actually applies and what this might mean for us as witnesses to the good news of Jesus. When I came back from the hospital after Daniel had died, his RE teacher came up to me at home. We had a whole bunch of people at the house. And she came up to me and she said, "Father Keith, I need to let you know what happened last week, when the day that Daniel died, because he had RE. And it had been in Lent. And they were talking about the transfiguration and what it meant to be a follower of Jesus. And Daniel had gotten up in that class and said, well, I've decided to be a follower of Jesus all the rest of the days of my life, and anyone who doesn't goes to hell. Now, I was absolutely flabbergasted by that recollection. Daniel and I had actually been doing evening prayer each day, Monday to Friday, in the chapel in the church at Timburn, where I was the priest and where I was the rector, just off the Great Ocean Road, near Port Campbell. A beautiful part of the world, but very sad for us. And anyways, Daniel spoke these words on the Friday. He died the following Thursday. And so when his classmates all gathered on that Friday and they were told that Daniel had died, they of course were bereft. And the Sunday school, the RE teacher was able to say, "Do you remember what Daniel said to us last week?" And the kids, they said yes. Daniel had decided to follow Jesus all the days of his life. Yes. And she recounted this passage, "If you confess me before others, I will confess you before my Father in heaven." And I knew when she told me that story about what Daniel had done, the witness that Daniel had made to his classmates, that he was with the Lord, that he was with Jesus, awaiting the resurrection of the dead. There was no doubt in my mind as to where Daniel was. Didn't deal with the grief, didn't deal with the whole process of processing the fact that a 7-year-old child has died, didn't deal with all of that, the dynamics in our family, that's a whole different kettle of fish. But what it did do is give me assurance about where Daniel is and that he is patiently awaiting the resurrection of the dead. But the other thing that it does, and goes back to last week's reflection, here is a 7-year-old boy who, yes, his dad was a rector, but, he's still a 7-year-old boy. And he is able to witness to the person and work of Jesus and is able to confess his faith as he understood it in the Lord Jesus. And note, he said, all the days of my life. He only had 7 more days. In fact, he fell unconscious he fell ill on that Friday. He was unconscious on the Tuesday and he died on the Thursday. And so Daniel's days had a lasting effect because his classmates were able to be comforted by Daniel's own words and Daniel's own witness to the Lord Jesus. Daniel did not know at that time that he would be that comfort and that assurance to his classmates. He did not know that he would be that comfort and assurance to his father, his earthly father, me. We don't know what our witness is going to do in the lives of other people. And that's why it's so important for us, if we believe in the Lord Jesus, that we actually are willing to stand up and give account of our faith, as Daniel did at the tender age of 7 years of age. I've always lived in awe of that testimony of Daniel's, and it's always given me courage and impetus to confess my faith in the Lord Jesus to those around me. I'm actually supposed to do it. I'm a clergy person. I'm supposed to do that. But we're actually all supposed to do that because it is our witness, it is our faith, it is our relationship with the Lord Jesus. And it's not a relationship that is private and only for us, but it is for us to share, because when we share, we don't know what the impact is going to be. We don't know who is going to need to hear that at that time. Daniel did not know that his classmates needed to hear his witness of the Lord Jesus, because 7 days later they would need to hear it as they started to process their grief at losing their much-loved classmate. And so can I encourage each and every one of us in our walk with the Lord Jesus not to shirk from, not to resile from, not to be afraid of sharing our relationship with the Lord Jesus. Daniel didn't do it as an evangelist. He did it as a 7-year-old boy, simply making a witness in response to a teaching in his RE class at school. Surely we can do a similar thing in the days and the lives that we are called to live each and every day of our life. And who knows what positive impact we can have on the lives of others, just as Daniel had on the lives of his friends and his family. The Lord be with you.